Tonight, explosive conclusion.
It's the right thing to do.
We've got a first look at the report into missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls, the strong language used to describe their treatment by Canada.
It's very destabilizing.
Donald Trump gives Canada whiplash over a crucial trade deal. What's next for the new NAFTA?
That's the story of my life.
And Pascal Siakam bursts into stardom. Plus, the pop panel revels in the Raptors. This is The National. It's been called this country's national shame, the violence inflicted on Indigenous women and girls. The government promised a national inquiry into those who were missing and murdered. The inquiry itself promised to look at all the causes, the response from police, the courts, and other institutions. Now it's ready to report on Monday, but CBC News has obtained a copy.
We have made this inquiry a priority for our government because those touched by this national tragedy have waited long enough.
And so began more than 2.5 years of work, 24 hearings across Canada, more than 2,300 participants, many sharing testimony that at times was heartbreaking.
I just lost everything. When she died, my life was ruined. My teacher, my mother.
There were setbacks. A commissioner quit, and there were concerns from some families, but the final report is substantial. More than 1,200 pages, more than 230 recommendations aimed at governments, the media, and the people of Canada. But as comprehensive as the report is, two powerful and provocative words stand out: Canadian genocide. That's what it says this country has to confront, and that's where we begin tonight. Olivia Stefanovic has our story.
Every Canadian must know the truth, because it's truth that liberates, it's truth that emancipates.
That truth, according to the National Inquiry's final report, is that violence against Indigenous women and girls amounts to what the commissioners call a Canadian genocide. Words deliberately chosen to reflect centuries of colonial racism and oppression. Something Ivana Yellowback says she's known all her life.
It's like a kind of colonial genocide. It's ongoing. And this is something that has been happening for hundreds of years.
Yellowback has 3 family members who have either disappeared or have been killed.
You know, it's crazy that it took $92 million and this commission report for those same statements and those words to be verifiable. When our families and our mothers and our kukums were saying these and telling us, even as young women growing up, to be careful.
The commissioners cite research dating back to when the term genocide was first coined in the wake of the Holocaust. But the report isn't explicit about why the definition applies here, and some question whether the use of that word is accurate, because international law says there has to be intent.
They are framing the issue by dropping cultural genocide. They're arguing that the intent of the government of Canada and other authorities in Canada has always been the biological elimination of the Native peoples in Canada in all of its acts. And legally, if we went to court, we would have a very difficult time proving that.
The authors seem to recognize more explanation is needed, saying they plan on writing another report. It will outline their reasoning for defining what happened to Canada's Indigenous peoples as genocide. Olivia Stefanovic, CBC News, Ottawa.
Many of the inquiry's recommendations are directed at Canada's justice system, including a call that the race and gender of a victim be considered in sentencing. And that's what the CBC's Bonnie Allen is looking at tonight.
Shirley Wilson is on her way to Ottawa to witness the National Inquiry's closing ceremony. Her daughter, Juanita Wolf, was shot and killed 20 years ago. A murder charge was downgraded to manslaughter. The killer only served a couple of years.
And when he got sentenced, that's exactly what I felt, that she didn't matter. You know, she was nothing, she was nobody, but yes, she was. She was somebody, she was my baby.
Wilson applauds a recommendation to change the criminal code. If the victim of violence is an Indigenous woman or girl, it should be deemed an aggravating factor. That could mean tougher sentences.
It's the right thing to do.
It's an idea that Lillian Dick already put forward in a private bill that was defeated in the House of Commons. In studying hundreds of homicides, the First Nations senator and other researchers found sentences are usually lighter when the victim is an Indigenous woman.
If someone killed an Aboriginal woman, he was more likely to get out of jail faster than if it was a non-Aboriginal woman.
So, can the justice system consider race in sentencing? Well, it already does. 2/3 of perpetrators who kill Indigenous women are Indigenous. Judges are supposed to consider a so-called Gladue report, taking into consideration background such as residential schooling and any abuse before deciding a sentence. Now, this would also recognize the race of the victim, but as an aggravating factor. Another recommendation would make a domestic homicide a first-degree murder charge if there's a pattern of intimate partner violence.
It's easy to say, maybe I got carried away or I was drinking, so I'm not responsible for my actions. But when there is a pattern of behavior over time, I think that shows intent.
That change would apply to everyone, regardless of race. Bonnie Allen, CBC News, Regina.
CBC News will have more coverage of this story in the days ahead, including Monday's release of the report at a ceremony at the Museum of History in Gatineau, Quebec. The Prime Minister is scheduled to attend. He's expected to be joined by family members of missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls. Now to the latest developments on the new NAFTA deal. U.S. President Donald Trump once called himself Tariff Man, and that is ringing true as he pushes ahead with new ones on all Mexican goods. U.S. importers will pay 5% starting just 10 days from now, ratcheting up every month until it reaches 25% by October. It's an effort to pressure Mexico to do more to stop migrants from crossing into the U.S. But linking trade to immigration and punishing an ally has blindsided businesses and raised doubts about that new version of NAFTA, so far signed but not ratified. Ellen Morrow has the political scramble to respond on both sides of the U.S.-Mexico border.
Sarah, the markets are already pelted with questions. Sarah Sanders defended the tariffs this morning.
We're asking Mexico to enforce their own laws to help stop the people coming in from Central America.
Stopping that flow, President Trump's top promise still unfulfilled. Now he's turning to his seemingly favorite weapon, tariffs.
We're taking in billions of dollars in tariffs.
But that's not how they work. The added cost on vehicles, beer, other goods from Mexico could top $20 billion, borne by U.S. consumers and businesses.
Well, if you're a consumer looking to buy one of these nice SUVs, how would you feel about a 5% increase in price? I mean, it's going to be tough. 25% increase would probably be a disaster.
The U.S. Chamber of Commerce considering legal options to stop it.
There are real problems at the southern border, but it's really hard to draw a connection between a tax on consumers and businesses here in America and solving that problem.
Markets fell over the news, while Mexico's President Andrés Manuel López Obrador urged caution.
Estas medidas
These measures are neither in the interest of Mexicans nor the United States, he said.
Pero tampoco.
Okay, thank you very much.
The tariffs could prove counterproductive by complicating ratification of the new NAFTA, a deal the White House wants to sell as a win ahead of 2020.
It's good for everybody. It's a great deal, and it's something that we should move forward with.
But it's a balancing act for a president eager to show his base he hasn't forgotten his pledge from 2016 to crack down on the U.S.-Mexico border. Ellen Morrow, CBC News, Washington.
And Katie Simpson is monitoring the reaction in Ottawa and if the Trudeau government has any anxiety about the revised North American free trade deal right now. Nobody's showing it.
Oral questions. Questions orales.
The opposition used the fresh trade tensions to attack the Liberals, arguing NAFTA is in jeopardy, so Canada should slow plans to adopt the agreement.
The government wants to tie its hands and put its head in the sand instead of waiting for an opportunity to improve the deal for Canadian workers.
The Foreign Affairs Minister downplayed concern Donald Trump's tariff threat could hurt the NAFTA approval process.
Mexico intends to move ahead with its ratification process.
From Canada's perspective, these are separate issues, and the U.S. and Mexico need to sort it out themselves.
This border issue between Mexico and the United States is a bilateral issue.
A source with direct knowledge of the situation says Canada is not getting involved, and that when the Prime Minister and President held a phone call today, the tariff threat did not come up. Still, this negotiator of the original NAFTA says Trump's intimidating tweets are not helpful.
It's very destabilizing, not just on the prospects for the ratification of the new NAFTA, but in terms of trade generally.
So destabilizing and unexpected, the issue even got some attention from another country caught in a trade dispute with the U.S. When asked by a reporter about the threat, a Chinese foreign ministry spokesman said the U.S. has repeatedly resorted to bullying trade practices. It is not new for Beijing to criticize Washington, but it's certainly not something Ottawa wants to hear right now, especially since the Prime Minister just asked the Trump administration to make a direct plea to the Chinese for the release of 2 detained Canadians.
We know you will not be intimidated by the use of coercive tactics, and neither will we.
The pledge for more Canada-U.S. cooperation isn't going over well. Beijing says there will be consequences if Canada continues on this path. Katie Simpson, CBC News, Ottawa.
Now to a developing story out of Virginia. Just moments ago, officials saying the death toll from a mass shooting has increased to 12.
This is the most devastating day in the history of Virginia Beach.
Police say the shooting happened around 4 p.m. local time. The gunman, said to be a disgruntled city employee, opened fire indiscriminately after entering a Virginia Beach City building. Witnesses describe the terrifying moments the gunshots went off in their workplace.
There was probably about 20 of us in an office crammed in. We barricaded the door.
Did you hear any gunshots?
Yes. Yeah, we did.
4 other people were wounded in the shooting, including a police officer whose bulletproof vest saved his life. Police say the shooter is also dead, his motive not yet known. Back in this country, spring rains have done little to ward off an early start to fire season in some areas, and that is a big problem for Pikangikum First Nation. The North Ontario community is being threatened by out-of-control flames on its eastern border. Residents are being airlifted out in a huge operation. Karen Paul's caught up with some of them in Thunder Bay.
Ian Moose, Malia Quill, and their 1-year-old daughter ventured out this morning to pick up some breakfast. They got into Thunder Bay last night on one of the military Hercules flights from Pikangikum.
Ashes were falling from the sky. It was scary because the fire was getting closer to the community.
Moose describes it as hell. The airport was packed after a state of emergency was called Wednesday evening. More than 1,000 priority people were told to pack up and leave.
It was horrible. Lots of people. Everybody was panicking.
I'm worried about my parents and my nephews.
3 military Hercules aircraft and 2 Chinook helicopters are flying in and out of the community today, trying to get people out of harm's way. The wind has shifted, but the fire is within 2 kilometers of the airport, and it's still considered out of control.
Are you looking at setting another?
Indigenous leaders are trying to coordinate the effort and communicate with their people.
Initially, there was a lot of frustration, and rightly so, especially yesterday morning with just a long delay. People waiting at the airport for the first plane to arrive, and all we could do was just to make sure that they had access to water and food.
Back in the hotel room, Quill is caring for her 2-week-old baby boy. Her sister, Starlene Quill, has come to visit with her 3-month-old baby.
Oh, baby was starting to cough a lot, so he haven't coughed lately now.
The room is packed. Everyone is tired and feeling scared for their community and family members still left behind.
Most of the evacuees are now going to Sioux Lookout, which declared a state of emergency so it can act as both a hub and a host community if necessary in the next few days. Karen Pauls, CBC News, Thunder Bay, Ontario.
And in Alberta, the number of people forced from their homes doubled overnight as wildfires there continue to burn out of control, including the two biggest near the towns of High Level and Slave Lake. Tonight, there are roughly 10,000 evacuees and many more are getting ready to leave. Rafi Bujikanian is in Slave Lake.
Slave Lake is a town ready to go.
So we got the cat carrier.
The Turners moved here in 2012 to a house spared by a wildfire that destroyed parts of this community. They're dreading leaving it behind.
All the work we've put into it, for that to just go would just be, terrible. I mean, I don't know if it's really sunk in what's going on.
But leaving nothing to chance. The kids all packed up and preparations underway to pack up the pets.
I'm just trying to get as much done as I can so that at least, like I said, we've got somewhere to go. And if not really, the animals at least can be in this section.
Then there are those who just went through an evacuation. Hundreds here escaped the fire further north, threatening the town of High Level, hoping that wasn't simply a rehearsal.
I know what things to do. First thing first, right? So no panicking, not at all. So it's like I'm ready to go anywhere.
Officials assuring things are under control as they keep an eye on what could be next.
One of the other obviously substantial concerns is a new fire starting up. Rain is not abundant in the forecast, and if we do get rain, it brings lightning.
This isn't lost on the Turners.
It's just been fires after fires. So, every year you think, okay, winter's over. We've got through that 6 months of cold. Now it's time to enjoy, and then this happens again.
The winds churned today in town, pushing the fire away, and residents hope letting them stay close. Rafi Bujikanian, CBC News, Slave Lake, Alberta.
The smoke those fires generate is blowing south, and that creates hazards for people with breathing difficulties, including in Alberta's biggest cities. Aaron Collins shows us how they are coping.
It's hard to say when smoke became just part of the weather here in Alberta, but here we are.
It is really early for the smoke, and both my daughters have asthma, so they're young, so it's hard for them.
Environment Canada says the air here is as bad as it can get.
This was pretty common in India, still is, but I can kind of feel the same pressure on my lungs right now.
This wildfire smoke hasn't made its way to India, but it is harming air quality and people's health as far away as Kansas City.
So, Doc, what does all this smoke mean for the people breathing it?
It's not good. I mean, short term, it's bad for your heart, your lungs. Long term, we're talking increased risk of cancer, increased risk of pregnancy problems.
Well, this is the second year in a row smoke this bad has rolled in. It hung around for weeks last year, and it's unclear how long it will stick around this time. But the real problem is that it will be back.
Climate change has happened, is happening, and will continue to happen. And one of the manifestations of that phenomena is an increase in the frequency and the magnitude of fires.
A stark new reality in a province that scrapped its carbon tax yesterday.
Mr. Speaker, promise made, promise kept. The carbon tax repeal.
Today, no change of heart.
The carbon tax didn't stop forest fires, in British Columbia or in Alberta, and that we've always had forest fires, we always will.
That much is true, and more warm, dry weather means the fires that caused this smoke won't be out anytime soon. And while this smoke will eventually clear, the problem that caused it appears here to stay. Aaron Collins, CBC News, Calgary.
Still ahead on the National, stirring up a double-double serving in China. The challenges brand Canada is facing later in our dispatch. But first, Raptors fans call him Spicy P. A look at the rising star behind last night's win.
That's the story of my life, just going out there every single night, working hard to get to this level.
Pascal drives. That's it. Pascal drives. That's it up and in. Siakam.
Just one of Pascal Siakam's stellar moments from last night's Game 1 victory over the Golden State Warriors. Siakam was a machine, leading the Toronto Raptors with 32 points in the first NBA championship game ever played on Canadian soil. It has been a long road to the NBA Finals for a young man who once dreamed of being a Catholic priest before basketball became the center of his life. CBC Sports reporter Devin Haru explores the rise of a talented and driven player.
The starting lineup for your Toronto Raptors!
The NBA Finals are always the grand stage for the game's superstars, but on this night, did a new one emerge.
Number 43, Spicy P!
Unfazed by the hype and the glare, Pascal Siakam was simply brilliant.
Pascal daring him to shoot, and the three.
Making 14 of the 17 shots he took, he was everywhere.
And a nice post-up move that time.
Leading the Raptors to a huge win.
That's the story of my life, just going out there every single night, working hard to get to this level.
A life that's had its heartache and adversity. In 2014, at the beginning of his basketball journey, attending a U.S. university far from his Cameroon home, Siakam's world was rocked. His father killed in a car accident.
It was definitely one of the toughest moments of my life and kind of tested me, as a man.
Devastating, but Siakam persevered.
The Toronto Raptors select Pascal Siakam.
Suddenly, in this, just his second full season, breakout success.
He's been given a God-given ability of having a big engine.
No French questions? What's going on?
Fluent in both English and French, Pascal has a flair fans adore.
Une équipe comme les Warriors, ils ont gagné.
Earning him the nickname Spicy P. At a Cameroonian restaurant in Toronto today,
we call it Achu.
All the talk about their hero.
Pascal, we want to say thank you so much, and we want to tell you, keep on with this name. We'll be behind you, we'll support you always.
Pascal drives.
And during the game of his life, his dad, the one person on his mind.
I know, people always usually tell me that I know he's proud of you and I have a bigger purpose and I play for something bigger than just basketball.
Pascal and the Raptors now just 3 wins away from an NBA championship. Devin Haru, CBC News, Toronto.
That has a nice ring to it. We'll have more on the Raptors up next. Our pop panel takes on the bandwagon effect and that famous fan cheering from the sidelines.
We have the best player, we have the best fans in the whole NBA, in the whole world. Look around you. Look at this. We created this.
Game 1 of the NBA Finals. Kyle Lowry from Edmonton to put it away.
The Toronto Raptors just won Game 1 of the NBA Finals, the first ever to be played in Canada. Pinch me, I must be dreaming, right?
The Raptors have the game's most understated all-star on the court and music's best-selling artist losing it courtside. This is unprecedented.
It feels like the whole country is suddenly cheering for this team, including me. And I just found out who Kawhi Leonard was like a month ago. I'm Stacey Lee Kong, freelance writer and editor.
I'm Donovan Bennett, host and staff writer for Sportsnet.
I'm Kathleen Newman-Bermang, staff writer with Refinery 29. I've loved this game all my life, and right now, everyone's all about the Raptors, but how many of you are going to stick around?
Right now, I'm all about being in this moment and being part of this amazing ride.
We the North isn't just a marketing slogan. There's real pride behind it. Basketball was invented in Canada, and while hockey is a sport that defines us, we're getting closer to the point where that's no longer the case.
So you are all obviously excited about the Raptors, and so I'd like to hear what this series and especially last night's win means to you. And let's start with Kathleen.
Well, I'm wearing my Raptors red, as you can see, and it's hard to put into words what it all means because it means everything. I'm so excited. I get teary-eyed last night when some of the OG players like Damon Stoudemire and Del Curry and Tracy McGrady were all there. You know, it just reminded me of the childhood I spent growing up loving the Raptors, and that it's been 24 years in the making.
That is fantastic to hear. Interesting to hear how emotional it makes you. Donovan, are you getting teary-eyed?
No, my tear ducts are fine. I'm a working professional. There is no cheering in the press box. But no, I'm actually really happy for the fan base and for the city. And a lot of the fans are so young, they can't really remember an existence when the Raptors weren't good or didn't exist. But for the ones that can, the Raptors used to be the team you cheered for in Canada until they lost. And then you cheered for your American team, the Bulls or the Celtics or the Lakers. And now you can have nice things. You can have both. So this entire week, the entire playoffs has really been a celebration that for once the Raptors are a part of the conversation at the biggest stage.
Now, Stacey, you openly describe yourself as a bandwagon jumper.
I'm owning it.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, what is it that on this ride to the finals that kind of prompted you to jump on that bandwagon?
Everyone seemed like they were having a really good time. Honestly, like when you were talking about realizing finally that, you know, this team is really amazing, and all of that is absolutely true, and I respect the skill and the athleticism, but really it just felt like I wanted to be part of something super fun. The vibe in the city is amazing. People are so excited. People are getting teary-eyed. I'm not actually getting teary-eyed, although I'm yelling at the TV a lot, which is a new thing for me. I don't totally know who I am anymore. It's just fun.
That is a very interesting point, and I think for Canadians across the country, a lot of people live in cities where their NHL teams have played in the Stanley Cup Finals over the last few years, and it is one of the cool things about as a team gets closer to the championship or a chance to win the championship, more and more people get interested, and so the bandwagon jumpers are absolutely part of the experience. Also part of the experience, of course, is Jurassic Park just outside Scotiabank Arena. Those of us not in Toronto watch and marvel. And it's not just in downtown Toronto. There's something like, I think, more than 20 Jurassic Parks across the country, including this one in Halifax. Let's take a look.
What do you think about this? Haligonians getting together and watching it like their own Jurassic Park.
Oh, it's good stuff. Halifax is a big basketball town. I'm glad to see the big show. Let's go Raptors.
And it's Colleen Jones there from CBC Halifax asking the questions. Donovan, how does that make you feel to see those pictures from Halifax and also somebody describing Halifax as a basketball town?
Well, I think it's important when we talk about this team, we mention that they're not Toronto's team. They're the country's team, and after the Grizzlies are now gone, Canada has really wrapped the flag around them, and I think it was instructive that they changed the colors from purple to red to embody that. And so whether it's the Maritimes and producing a player like Carl English, or obviously BC producing a player like Steve Nash, the entire country has been part of the basketball conversation. So I love to see the 27 watch parties from around the country, and even in Cineplexes, people are paying to watch the game in a theater with other people. I never thought I would see this in our country, but I love it.
Yeah, I was talking on Twitter earlier today about how this is one of those shared experiences, and we get fewer and fewer of those on television as you get fragmented media, people watching streaming and that sort of thing. Somebody grumpily replied, well, I'm out in Vancouver. I don't see everybody watching it. Well, I'm in Vancouver too, and I'll tell you, people in the newsroom, you can hear them. It's a noisy newsroom. They're talking about the Raptors. Stacey, how does that make you feel, that sense of a shared experience with other people?
I love that. That's what I'm here for. I'm here for the shared experience. I'm here for feeling like I'm part of something. And it's also really nice too, I think, because I don't necessarily, like, there's a reason that I'm not bandwagon. There are several reasons why I'm not bandwagon jumping for the Leafs. There's the obvious one, but there's also that I don't necessarily see myself represented in that fan base, in that fan culture. And I do see myself represented in basketball,
and
which
Kathleen,
I think is a different thing.
Kathleen, jump in.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Stacey brings up a great point in that the Raptors have always been a team that I could look to and feel represented by in Canada, which is still a hockey country. So when we talk about Canada jumping on the bandwagon of this team, this is still Toronto's team. And I think we do need to make a distinction between Toronto and the rest of Canada, and how many people are still going to be supporting this city and not talking trash about this city when this team, God forbid, isn't winning like it is.
You don't have to draw a distinction between Toronto and the rest of Canada. I think the rest of Canada likes drawing that distinction all the time.
Exactly, but that's what I'm saying. So for now to be like, we're all this holding hands, coming together country where everybody loves Toronto, I don't think that that's true.
Lots of people love the Raptors now, though, that's for sure. And Donovan, you have a thoughtful take on the Raptors as a team that, not just Toronto's team, but the team that reflects Toronto.
Yeah, maybe the rest of the country may not like Torontonians, but they could like the players on this team, because in a way, I do think the franchise at this point represents the country in the way that they are. Their advisor, Wayne Embry, the first African-American GM in the NBA, Masai Ujiri, the first African-born president. They have women working in the front office and on the basketball ops, and even on the court. A player from Taiwan, a couple players from Africa and from the UK. It's not just tall Americans playing for a Canadian team. Serge Ibaka is talking to Pascal Siakam in French and Marc Gasol in Spanish. That's incredibly multicultural, and it really sounds like something that would happen for a team in this country. And so that diversity on the court represents the diversity in our country and the diversity of that fan base, which is why I think we are seeing a lot of new Raptors fans across the country.
All right, let's talk about the elephant at courtside. Drake, his antics has gotten so much attention. He's always entertaining. Let's look at a clip from him at Jurassic Park.
We have the best player. We have the best fans in the whole NBA, in the whole world. Look around you. Look at this. We created this.
Love him. I say let Drake be great. Listen, aside from all of the cultural significance of the Raptors and everything we just mentioned about that amazing multiculturalism that represents Toronto, it is entertainment. And Drake is being entertaining. He is, taking that nosebleed energy and bringing it down to courtside, which, the New York Times wrote about this, and I really, really agree with it, that we usually see people who sit courtside being these stuffy executives. And Drake is letting go of all of that, and he's just being a fan, and he is representing me on those sidelines, and I love it. And, he's also doing his job. He's getting in the heads of our opponents, and him and Draymond Green were trash talking to each other, and then Draymond Green was not able to shut down Pascal Siakam. So he did his job.
You have strong feelings on this. Stacey, you mentioned your bandwagon jumper. Let me tell you, it's not typical in the NBA to have a superstar musician at courtside doing what Drake does. How do you feel about what you're seeing?
I also love him. I think Drake has so many feelings, and they're very representative of my feelings. Like I mentioned, I'm finding myself shouting at these refs, and I don't totally always know that I'm right or that I've interpreted the rules correctly, but I feel them deeply. And I like seeing that represented. I think his pettiness is hilarious. I think wearing Del Curry's jersey last night was the best power move. Like, that was the best flex of all time.
I think his pettiness is, whatever you said, fantastic. That's very interesting.
Agreed.
But Donovan, you're with Sportsnet. You're a former college athlete. Give me the sports perspective on this, because I've heard some people in the sports journalism community who are kind of split on having anybody, much less Drake, do what he does courtside.
Yeah, I think you need to ask that person, well, when were they born? What's their birth certificate? Because this is a divisive issue based on how old you are. And the basketball consumption in this country, and really the NBA, is heavily millennial. Millennials are 70% more likely to sit down and watch a basketball game in Canada than a baby boomer. And so naturally, Drake, the king of all things millennial, who's been a fan of this team since he was Aubrey, he is passionate and he is in his feelings at times about this team. And this is a way that the NBA is different from the NHL or Major League Baseball. They embrace celebrity culture because they understand that when they're trending, good, bad, or indifferent, it's good for everyone. So really, this is the most NBA millennial story you'll have. And it's not really that surprising that Drake is part of the story, even though old school journalists don't like it.
And I think that it's important to distinguish Drake from other random fans. He is the global ambassador of the Toronto Raptors. He has done a lot for the cultural cachet of this team, to bring up the cool factor of this team, which is a part of the NBA and a part of this league. And so, him getting up close and personal with Nick Nurse is different than another fan doing that, and I think that distinction is important.
Well, to that point,
all of you are passionate. I wish we could all sit courtside, but we'll have to watch, at least in my case, on TV. Thank you very much for telling us why you love the Raptors.
Thank you.
Thank you.
How much fun was that? Still ahead on The National, selling Canada in China, how brands are hoping to win over consumers despite the rising tensions between the two countries.
I really like the values of Tim Hortons, which reflects the value of Canada, which we believe are very relevant to Chinese people as well.
Here are some other stories we're following tonight on The National. As promised, the government of Saskatchewan is taking its carbon tax case to the Supreme Court. The government officially filed notice of appeal today, less than a month after Saskatchewan's Court of Appeal ruled against the province, saying the federal government's tax was constitutional.
We think it is a wrong approach to take. Regardless of the legality of it, we think there's better ways to deal with climate change.
The province now has a 2-month window to file a summary of arguments, with hopes that the court will hear the case this fall.
We are going to do what's best for our kids. We are going to do it together in a way that helps all of us.
NDP leader Jagmeet Singh unveiling his party's 22-page climate plan today. Among the promises, to ban single-use plastic across the country by 2022. It also vows to exceed emissions targets set out by the Paris Accord. Singh says it'll cost $15 billion and create 300,000 jobs. One of North America's biggest construction companies is facing unprecedented criminal charges in the death of a BC worker. In 2009, Sam Fitzpatrick was killed by a falling boulder on a job site in BC's Central Coast. Construction firm Peter Kiewit Sons and 2 former managers now face charges of criminal negligence causing death. A spokesperson says the company will vigorously defend itself in court. Earlier in the program, we talked about the escalating trade war between China and the United States. Both have imposed tariffs, and the U.S. has blacklisted Chinese tech giant Huawei. Well, on that score, it looks like China may soon fire back, saying it will establish its own list of so-called unreliable entities, companies and people it says harm Chinese businesses. Until the list is made, we won't know the targets or the consequences, but it's possible Canadian companies could feel the impact. And all of that is happening just as some of those are winning over Chinese consumers. CBC's Sasha Petrusik shows us how they're doing that in tonight's dispatch from Shanghai.
A hockey stick opens the Canadian experience in Shanghai. The door sign promises nice people inside. And once you get past the local greeting at China's first Tim Hortons, a blast of Canadiana unmatched by any Tims back home, almost like visiting the Great White North, says Hang Zhan, who studied in BC.
Like Canada, it's kind of like another Canada Day in Shanghai. It works.
Lumberjacks behind the counter, maple leaves on the walls. And tucked in the back,
And we have a fireplace, which creates the warm feeling.
a cozy little nook decorated with the Toronto skyline. Try doing that in Calgary. Why all this unabashed Canuck branding? Because it sells here, says the man in charge of Tim's China.
And I really like the values of Tim Hortons, which reflects the value of Canada. For example, the generosity, inclusiveness, and the community, which we believe are very relevant to Chinese people as well.
What's more, this woman says it evokes images of wholesome food, beautiful mountains, and clean rivers. Maybe, says Alec Chan, but these days in China, Canada's taken a double-double dose of trouble. And while it hasn't kept him from trying the coffee, this store is coming here at the wrong time, he says. Why? Because of what Canada's done to Huawei, he says. The tech company is very important in Chinese people's hearts. So when they see the maple leaf these days, some see red. Certainly, the Chinese government has taken a tough line, condemning and pressuring Canada over the arrest of Huawei executive Meng Wanzhou at Washington's request. In retaliation, it seems, Beijing has held 2 Canadians on accusations of spying for almost 6 months, and Canadian imports, especially farm products, have suddenly faced punishing delays or bans at the border. The Business Council that represents Canadian companies in China says almost 20% of its members have faced some kind of trouble dealing with Chinese officials recently.
Business can tell it's being impacted, but it doesn't feel that it has the power to change the situation, that the resolution of the situation is squarely in the hands of the two governments, and they feel like, they feel a bit helpless.
But for all the official attacks on Canada and Canadians, the mood here on the street is very different. The Maple Leaf is still liked, and Canada as a brand can still draw a crowd. Take Canada Goose, for instance. The Toronto-based coat maker opened a huge store in Beijing's trendiest mall right in the middle of this dispute. It saw excited posts on China's internet, lineups out the door, and by the end of the first day, a blowhorn announcement that everything was sold out. But it's all still very sensitive. Canada Goose didn't want to talk about its China operations. Tate Lawson is a Canadian who advises companies moving into the Chinese market. He says things become unpredictable whenever Beijing turns its wrath on any country.
If it's the risk of Chinese consumers not liking Canadian brands or boycotting Canadian brands, I think that it's not that great of a risk in the long term, but it can be in the short term, especially for a brand that's a big target.
Canadians aren't the only ones to feel China's anger. 2 years ago, Korean department store Lotte was ordered to close more than 100 stores in a dispute between Beijing and Seoul over Korea's defense system. They've never reopened.
I'll put some things.
Good. Canadian businesses here, like the Canadian international schools, haven't seen that kind of pressure yet.
I'll teach you guys.
And staff and students say neither have they. This new campus recently opened in the northeast city of Shenyang, flying the Canadian flag and teaching a New Brunswick curriculum.
When I'm here, the Chinese person across the street, still my friend.
Alan Norman is the school principal.
I don't feel any of that intimidation or angst or fear or, why are you in our country? Or none of those things seem to be stimulated by the buzz that goes on at the government level.
Back at the Shanghai Tim Hortons, that optimistic view is shared by many Chinese customers, even if it isn't exactly the party line. We don't care much about this issue, says Mr. Chen. I wish both countries would just get along and grow rich together. Just maybe over a box of salted egg Timbits. Those are spreading across Shanghai now, with plans for hundreds more Tim Hortons stores across China soon. Sasha Petrusik, CBC News, Shanghai.
Ahead on The National, we say goodbye to the Made in Canada messaging service that goes offline today.
I love my Blackberry. I can get email on this thing, send and receive.
The end of the BBM era. That's next in our moment. Smartphones are such a big part of our lives, it can be easy to forget that they've only been around for a couple of decades. And not that long ago, chances are the one in your pocket was Canadian made. Long after Blackberry lost its dominant position as a smartphone, Blackberry Messenger remained surprisingly popular with some of us for years, but now even that is over. After 14 years, the consumer version of BBM is shutting down, and so we want to devote our moment tonight to a final message of farewell.
Is it supposed to feel so right?
For a while, it seemed like everyone used Blackberry and its virtually unhackable encrypted BBM messenger. Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, power brokers in Ottawa. But then iPhones and Androids came along and ruined everything. Despite the fierce loyalty of true believers, Blackberry went from giant to joke.
I've got 6 ringtones.
Let me hear that old car horn again.
Come on. Fist pump.
BlackBerry. And yet some of us persisted. Until finally, late last year, even I was forced to end the relationship. Well, it's over. I've exhausted every attempt to keep my BlackBerry, in the process exhausting my colleagues in IT. So long, BlackBerry Messenger, gone, but mostly not forgotten. Okay, so I was made fun of by my coworkers, especially those in IT. And I remember walking through downtown Toronto, people would see the BlackBerry and say, knowingly, you do it because the messages are encrypted. No, I do it because it was Canadian and I like the keyboard and I take a long time to adopt new technology and I know I'm not alone. So goodbye to the BlackBerry, goodbye to BBM Messenger, and goodbye tonight for The National from May 31st. Thanks for watching.